They should come up.
Chat.
All right, what's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding. I'm joined by Brett Wilkin the Butcher. And we're going to be reviewing the prejudging a little bit from this 2022 Arnold Classic. It says we have no viewers right now, but there's heaps of people in the comments, so I don't know what's going on there. But man, how you doing? And what did you think? First reactions from this 2022 Arnold Classic, and I'll bring up some videos and photos of social media while we're talking about it too.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got some stuff. First off, I want to say shout out to Samson. I was able to watch it because he was just sitting there with his Instagram on, able to up close too. So shout out to him for letting us kind of use his Instagram to watch the show while the live stream wasn't set up or whatever they were doing over there. But overall, show, like I said, it was exciting, to especially see, Andrew next to some of these other guys, Andrew and Martin next to these other guys, especially from Europe. James came in looking, strong, looking big, what he wanted to do. I think the biggest surprise is probably Patrick.
Patrick Johnson, who's, as you can see here on this photo, he's this is Andrew Jack here on the far left. You can see half of him, but this is Patrick Johnson here. So he's got the sort of yellowy trunks on, so people know who he is, because a lot of people didn't know him, man, like going into it. I
think, based off what I saw at the end there, I think they have him they're putting him in second.
Yeah.
What I kind of picked up on, and obviously there's supposed to be finals, but how it ended there, Andrew and Patrick in the middle, they moved Martin to the outside with James. So with prejudging finishing, it looked to me as they had Andrew, Patrick, Martin, and then James,
which is sort of surprising a little bit in some sort of way, because Patrick Johnson, I guess the conditioning up close must be very nutty, because when you look here, you look at Andrew Jack's hamstring, glute, side leg here, you can see obviously there's lines in his glutes, but it's not that real dryness like you see at James Hollingshead here on the right. And then you look at Patrick Johnson and he just looks like really dry, that just looks like really thin skin. So do you think that's probably the difference, and that's why they've got Patrick Johnson so high?
I'm thinking there's a little bit more seen in person, because based off the, obviously the shitty Instagram live and, whatever other stream we had, I didn't have Patrick that high. I thought he was getting beat on the back shots. Like you said, his skin it didn't look as crisp, but maybe, like I said, you said, in person, he had a nasty, I will say this though, his ab and thigh is nasty. He's got those big sweeping quads, small waist that comes down. That's a really good shot for him. But I had some of the other guys kind of ahead of him in different shots. In my eyes, I had it more Andrew, Martin, than James, and then Patrick. But like I said, there's still finals to go. I think overall, I think James could have been a little smaller, and not meaning just meaning he could have been a little tighter. I think he about 5 more pounds. He brought the look he wanted with the exploding full big. I think he could have been a little bit sharper from the front in some spots. Martin was actually better than Texas. I think, if we're going to play this percentage game, I think Martin was probably 3, 4, 5% up, and I think Andrew Jack was 0% up. I think he looked exactly like he did at Texas. I don't think he came in any sharper. I still think, it's phenomenal. I think I have him winning. But I wasn't shocked, hey, he said he's going to be 10% sharper here. I didn't see that. He still needs, if he wants to break into that top 6 at the Olympia, he's going to need to bring up the conditioning on the posterior chain, glutes, hams, low back. But man, just what a force. When they put him, I was commenting on the feed. Right when they put them together, that's when, the first call, that's when Andrew sticks out. It's just a dominating force of just overall size and length, especially on that front lat spread where he's so wide and so much taller. But this was another show, man. There was a fucking sizes everywhere. You had James, then you had that other guy that just went pro. I think he was taller than, sorry, not James, Jamie. He was taller than Jamie. He was 6'8", 6'9", it looked like up there.
I didn't even see him, man. I got to sort out some pictures of him.
Yeah, he looked like a Viking, bro. He was he had, 6'8", 6'9" on stage is probably it looks like 6'8", 9". It's probably more like 6'3", 6'4", but still super tall. There's just different sizes all over.
Yeah.
What did you think of Mark Hector?
Mark Hector, I didn't see heaps of him, but we'll go to him now. We'll go to his individual video. But obviously we can only see so much. But it seems like what we were seeing pre-contest, it's you can see why we saw those photos, but when you look at that shot, like it's the structure and everything is amazing. It's just, I don't know, what do you think he needs to do? Like it just seems like, I don't know, not quite as crisp on that front double bicep. Maybe is what we're seeing in the pre-show photos. I don't know if it's fullness, flatness, like what the actual issue is. I think he's just better in the photos, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I kind of said that when we did, when we were talking about this through the week. I was like, I'm really interested to actually see him. Like, a lot of people have that coming up where like they look so good in photos and stuff like that by themselves. But let's put them next to some guys, especially on this Arnold UK stage, and see.
That upper body, I feel like that needs to be a little bit more crisp through that back.
His front shots are on. Yeah, I mean, like he still kept this through his chest, arms, shoulders look great, legs were dialed in from the front. But right when he turned around, I knew it wasn't going to be there because I think he was standing next to Martin, and like once they both turned around, I was like, oh, there it is. You know what I mean? Like meaning that that's where Martin's. That's what gets him into that top 2-3 spot is that backside conditioning. So I think Mark could have been probably about, they were all about like he's 24 pounds up. I don't know, something like that. He's 24 pounds up from last year. Yeah, he probably should have been about 18, 16 pounds up. You know what I mean? He could have been a little sharper from the back. A little bit more dialed in. But overall, man, what's improvements there? He looked good. He looked, just fine tuning the rest of the way now.
It's such a great look, you know what I mean? Like I wish his bicep. I wish I could scroll this video. I wish his biceps were a little bit more peaky. But I mean, from here they look it, but from front double bicep they just look sort of flattened out a little bit with not too much detail through them. But overall, man, this dude's physique is crazy. He still looks fantastic. Like I think people, because he was being talked about as potentially winning this show, people are going to be down on him, and you sort of know about that, man, because you obviously go into that Arnold Classic. People were talking about you winning that show, obviously the Arnold Classic US. And you didn't obviously win that show, and you probably, came in a little bit off compared to what you wanted to. And then everyone is like all of a sudden down on you. And I think the same thing is going to happen to Mark Hector a little bit, which will suck for him. And all about that. So I suppose, what do you think he's going to go through post-show compared to like what you went through?
There might be a little bit like, oh, hey, he didn't win it like we thought, whatever. But the thing is, like, look at his progress. So like he's in a great spot moving forward. This would have been a hell of a win. You went from, I don't even think he's gotten top 3 at a show before this, right?
I mean, he was 4th in that British UK British 4th or 5th or something. So
yeah, that's what I mean. So like to jump up that much would have been super duper impressive. I still think it was a big step in the right direction. So there's no knock on him. He doesn't need to think that way. You know what I mean? Just back to the drawing board. Honestly, I'll probably see him here, in like 6-7 weeks out of Romania.
Oh yeah, you might be on stage with him.
Yeah, so he needs to keep competing, keep showing up, and good things will happen. I do think he kind of, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but again, it matters what fucking live stream you're watching or whatever Instagram you're watching. But I feel like he's fading a little bit. I feel like he's fading a couple rounds. He wasn't as sharp at the end as he was at the beginning. So I don't know, maybe they fed him up a little bit too much and he was spilling a little bit, or you never know. There's many, many things. But overall, yeah, like I said, we thought it was going to be an Andrew, Martin, James, Mark, or Patrick show, and it was. You know what I mean? So, surprise is Patrick. James, yeah. What do you think about James overall?
Let's go to James. I thought James was. There's some parts of his physique that I think were sort of like better than ever. And then there's other parts that I think were not as impressive as I've seen in the past. So his side leg, when he hits that, I don't know if it's just because he's standing next to Martin, because Martin's is just like etched out. You get the separation right between his quad and ham, and it's very obvious, and his glutes are in. When he stood next to him in that side leg, I just don't think it was as impressive. But I think certain aspects of his physique, he has a certain level of fullness, which was much, much better than the last Olympia he did, that was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he missed it there, and I think he was just way too flat and couldn't fill up and just sort of atrophied muscle at the end. I don't think he did that as much this time, so I think it was a better look. I don't know if it was as good as the UK, the British Grand Prix, where he won that one, and then he won that other European show, but it's hard to say because it's such different lighting here. So what did you think about his package and how it compared to that British Grand Prix?
Like I said at the start of this, I think he could have been about 5 pounds sharper, but also with that said, and that's just now looking at standing next to Martin, who him and Martin have very similar physiques, especially from the backside. And so that's what, kind of separated them is they won the back shots, especially through the posterior chain into the back double, back flat spread. But if you notice, Martin was just a little bit sharper, so I think he could have edged out a little bit more. But he also, when we did our pre-show here earlier in the week, he brought what he wanted to do. He wanted, James wanted to bring this physique of exploding full. This is more his look. He was confident with it. So I think overall he's happy, and it should, like I said, he should be at third or fourth place, it looks like. And overall, just a good showing. And his quads are gigantic. So,
yeah.
And I think it just, the only thing that you can't even knock him on is just a few structural things. He is a little narrow, so am I. I'm a little narrow too. It's just something we have to deal with. So it's like you can't really knock that exactly. So he just needs to keep playing to his strengths, especially those side shots, his back shots. And maybe hopefully, they don't have much time. I guess they're going to go here in like another hour, but maybe tighten up just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think with James as well, he's just riding that fine line between being too flat and being hard enough. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's certain body parts on his physique here that I'm like, oh, if it was a little bit crisper, but had he pushed it that much more, like from a side leg here, I've seen that harder before at that British Grand Prix. Like, that just doesn't look quite as crisp to me. But I think overall it was a good physique. Like, it was better than that Olympia showing, not as good as a British Grand Prix quite, but overall a pretty damn good look. I think that he could just maybe crispen up just a tiny bit more, and I think that would be the sort of ideal look for him. Yeah,
and I think he will ahead. He'll probably do a few more shows here. He might end up at Romania and stuff too, so it'll be good to see him. But maybe that's what he needs, another like 5 weeks of dieting and stuff. And overall, yeah, he's definitely not done. We'll see a lot more of him.
Sure. Now our boy Martin Fitzwater, I thought he looked fantastic. Like, think about it. He's 25 years old. He's did that Texas Pro. What was it? Another 6 weeks to this UK Arnold Classic. That's hard at that age. He added so much fresh muscle to hold onto a physique, and I thought he improved. So shout out to Martin and how he looked here. That front double bicep I thought was better than Texas. I thought it was a crisper look, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to come in harder from the front. I think that side tricep, like, he was more etched out. Just his stomach was tighter and everything as well. So I thought it was an improved physique for sure. I have him a pretty clear second in my eyes, with James Hollingshead sort of challenging him. But when I just see those hamstrings and glutes from the back and that level of like thickness and maturity in his back, it just is crazy. But I will say James has a crazy back double, but then I think Martin takes James on the rear lat spread. So what did you think of Martin? Where do you think he'll place? I think you said second, it looks like. Yes, second or third. No, third most likely it looks like. But I'd personally have him in that top two because I think his conditioning, as good as Patrick Johnson's conditioning is, I think Martin's is very, very good. And it's a different look. Like, it's probably not quite as dry as Patrick, but I think it's, he's got that etched out deep separation and line. So what did you think? And where do you think he should place?
Yeah, like you said to start this is, I don't, especially people listening to this, I don't think people realize how hard it is to get better within 6 weeks, like after a show. Like, like you're already, especially with the conditioning he brought to Texas, you're already so far depleted at that point. Then you gotta, then you can't go too far where you start, eating away muscle. You don't want to fill up too much that you start spilling over. So for him to maintain and get better, like I said, I think he was, it's such a minimal term, but like 4 or 5% better here. He just sharpened up things. His back shots were even nuttier than last time. He worked on some of his front shots. I think his front double was better. Like you said, his quads were a little bit more edged out. That came in better. So, good for him, man. He, I know Martin's kind of, Martin's kind of opened his mouth a little bit these last 6 weeks, and kind of been a whirlwind for him. But you know what? When it came down to it, he backed his shit up. It doesn't look like he's going to get the win today. I think based off what we saw, I think Andrew's going to win just because of he's good enough at that percentage of what he brought. But I would like to see Martin get second again. I think he's better than Patrick based off what I saw. But overall, yeah, we got Andrew left now to talk about, and I think he needs to, he was good enough to win here today, and like I said, we'll see here in a little bit. But definitely needs to do those level up percentages that he was talking about if he's going to look at top. So,
do you think that because, like, obviously there was talk, obviously pretty much through desktop bodybuilding, that he might not do? Man, someone's going crazy in the comments. I need to ban this person quickly. Yeah, they're just saying lots of racist stuff. All right, so ban that. But so yeah, Andrew Jack. So obviously there was talk about him maybe not getting a visa to do this contest. It's hard to, like, as you know, as a pro athlete, to be able to go and do all your training, pushing your body to get better. Obviously, if you're thinking I might not do this show in 6 weeks' time,
Right.
do you think that maybe he sort of was taking his foot off a little bit and sort of going, okay, well, I can pull it together if I need to, like if I am doing the show, but if not, then I can sort of go past. And it seems like it's worked because he looks very similar to Texas to me, conditioning wise, fullness wise, which is a great look. Like he looks fantastic. And I think that, to be honest, I think he deserves to win this show. Like I'm not going to debate that. I think Martin, had he stood next to him at every sort of look, I'd say there's shots Martin's winning, but I don't know if I'd have Martin actually beating Andrew Jack just because Andrew Jack looks so different, I guess. So it's hard to sort of to place him. But I don't know. I mean, do you think that's the reason why? Maybe just because he took his foot off a little bit?
I think it could be. We have no idea what was going on with these last couple of weeks with him. If he knew he was going to get in, if he didn't, last minute was able to. So I was like, oh shit, I got to turn it back on. One of those things. This also still goes back to what I just said about Martin is like, even to come back the same percentage of this show this close, like I've always said it's easier like to peak for shows when they're like a week apart. So if like, when you're just competing week to after week, it's when you have those like 4, 5, 6 weeks in between is when it's hard because hormonally, you might add back on water, you hormonally might make some shifts there that affect things. You still have to deal with AIs, everything in that regard. So it's hard to do 6 weeks. So for him to come back and be this, like I said, I think he was as good as Texas is saying a lot to that too. So he was able to turn it on. Only thing is, like I said, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot because when they won Texas, him and his coach were just like, this is only 70%. So then you get all these people like, okay, he's 70%. Let's see 80 next. Then we're going to see 100 at the Olympia. And like in reality, it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? He was probably 85, 90 at Texas. Now he's 90, 92, whatever. And that's not bad. You're winning these shows. You're winning big time shows. You look great, So don't throw a percentage on things and saying you're going to be jumping this much, going to the next show, because then you're going to almost shoot yourself in the foot because everyone was expecting more, especially I think they're expecting more from the backside. But overall, if we wouldn't have known anything about that, I heard that we'd been like today, we would have been like, holy shit, Like I said,
Andrew's great again.
I think my comment was holy shit when they put him up in that first call out. Because when I was watching, he was closest to the camera. So it was like him, and then everyone's kind of to the right of him, and he just looked like he was like 3 times bigger than everybody.
Yeah, man. And I just think that you like that front double bicep there. You look at that and you compare it to these other guys, and it's like these other guys are world class, but they're still just not even close on the front double. And I think that the shots that Andrew wins, he wins by so much at the moment. This video is terrible here. He wins by so much at the moment that in those other shots where I'm like, oh, Martin wins this shot. I'm like, he's probably not winning them by enough against Andrew Jack to then, justify those other poses. So I think that it's still not like, I don't think it's a complete blowout, like totally crazy, because I think that Martin still was winning shots like this back double. I think that actually James and Martin are challenging for that one. Like, I think it's pretty clear. So I think, James is probably honestly winning that one. Just, I think partly on lighting and just the tan, because I think Martin's probably a little bit dark in the tan there or something. I don't know. Or just why the lighting's hitting or he's too close or something. But I think Martin, when you see that up close, I think he looks fantastic in that. But James, I think, is bringing a really good package. And I think this fuller package for James looks better from behind than anything. And then also in some of those front shots, I think from a side, it just hurts James, this level of fullness.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty exciting, man. It's a pretty exciting prejudging. I wanted to discuss Jamie. It's Jamie Christian, isn't it? AKA the Giant. Nathan De Asha said, I'll get to Nathan's comments too. I'll see if I can play the audio. Actually, can you hear this? Can you tell me if you hear that audio?
I can hear it.
Okay, cool. So we can go to Nathan's story and play his audio about what he said about Andrew Jack and what he thought of the show and what he thinks about certain competitors, because obviously Nathan doesn't really like ever hold back. So we can definitely go to that. But Jamie Christian, I think he looked dramatically better than he looked at the last show. I think that his fullness was really good. This is where he falls down a little bit in the hamstring from the side. But like his front lat spread when he's standing up there, I'm like, that looks somewhat comparable to Andrew Jack. What did you think of Jamie Christian compared to his last show and just in general?
I think this is the best Jamie I've seen. It sounds like it was even more impressive in person. Like,
look how big that looks there.
Besides Nathan, I saw some other stories where people were like, holy shit, he walked out. especially in that first lineup that came out. I think he just goes in alphabetical order. He looks very dominant, because you stand next to Martin. People got to realize Martin's like 5'6", 5'7", and then you got Jamie, who's like 6'4", maybe 6'6", I don't know, 6'5". But I think they nailed his conditioning. It's Milos, right? They nailed his conditioning. Filled him up right. I was paying a little bit of attention to his YouTube. It sounded like he had to eat a shit ton these last 3 days. Like it was like a 1,600 gram carb day. It was like a 1,300, then like an 850 the last 3 days. So they pushed him down hard low, and then they filled him up right, and it came together. So I wasn't really in agreement with Nate, because I was watching Nathan's story as he was going. He was saying that he had, I think he was even saying Jamie was going to beat James or something, or maybe he had him up there, man. He had him in the.
I'm not sure, because he said James was one of his all-time best or something. So I'm not sure.
Bad, or he said Jamie, yeah. But he said Jamie was all-time best, but he also had him in like the top 4, and I was like, it's just going to be so hard for him to like, just fill out that frame completely to be able to get in those top spots. It's just there's just so much surface area that it just doesn't look, and they're never going to get rewarded until they can. So,
but think about this. Think about if like there was a small pro show and it was Jamie, it was Mark Hector, it was some of these other guys that were good bodybuilders that are outside the top 5, and then maybe a couple of other names like a Muzi or something like that. Like I think Jamie can win one of those shows, like, and go to the Olympia.
This today could have won it could have won a few shows this year. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Just could have won that show over the Italy show not like a month ago.
Man, I wish he did that.
I think he was there, but I think this look would have won it. I
wish he did it like this physique.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got to be kicking himself a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and it's good to see him put it all together. And like I said, I'm pretty sure he's going to be continuing to competing too. So we'll hopefully get to see him some more here ahead.
And it's funny, you watching all these shows, you must be thinking like, am I going to stand next to this dude in 6.5 weeks or 7 weeks or however long it is?
Yeah, a lot of Europeans. It's their backyard, right?
Yeah, and did you see Milos's other guy is doing that show as well, but you're doing Romania? Is Beiruz?
Yeah, he looks really good. I remember his conditioning last year. He was nasty, so that'll be a tough guy for sure.
I'm calling it. You guys top 2 100%, man. you first, him second, so we'll roll with that. But let's discuss a little bit about, is there anyone else to talk about, or do you want to discuss the Classic quickly, because we've got a pretty good video of that?
So we had those guys. We had Mark probably in 5th. We had Jamie in probably 6th, or right around there. Who else was in that second little call out?
Let's try to find it. I don't know. I thought there's one on here actually, the second call out. Maybe not. I know there's one on one of the pages. I'll refresh this one, see if anything else comes up.
Yeah.
Because the show's happening right now. So for people that are watching this, the show is actually live right now, and they're going through. Oh, so we've got some actual results here. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got.
Is that Classic?
First place. Yeah, Michael DaBull. So he was. Oh. Did you see his glute pictures, man? He was inside out, like crazy.
I saw him at the Arnold earlier this year, and he looks very similar to that, but I think he was even sharper today. And I was impressed. He brings some insane conditioning that we don't see very often. So I'm glad he got rewarded for that. He deserved to win. He was good at he was very good at showing this conditioning. You know what I mean? Like this hit right. How many people come out and do this sideways men's physique pose on their first shot? I saw that and I was like, what? And then I realized, I'm like, that looks really fucking good actually. So, accentuates the waist. He shows off the glute ham tie.
Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, he was nasty and he was showing it off, man. So that was a good win for him. It would have been interesting to see if those other guys made Classic. They would have pushed him a little bit, but you got to make weight, right? You got to make weight.
Yeah. Man, if this guy had just a slightly tighter, midsection in here and just had a few other things that's slightly different, he would be best in, up there with challenging C-Bum. But he can't do much more than he's doing, because this is I think that obviously he's rewarded, and he has some this shot is really, really good. That is so impressive to me. But I just think there's just a couple shots where it's just not quite he'll. I can't imagine him ever winning an Olympia, you know what I mean? Which sucks for him, because he's doing everything he can, and he's obviously one of the best in the world. But it's just hard to see him getting up in challenging C-Bum in that first call out with who we've got there now.
No, yeah. I mean, when you look at Classic, we're pretty set for the years to come. It's either going to be Chris or right behind that. Obviously got Terrence. But then the next generation of Dino, however you're saying his name, Dino, and then of course Like and Dino are going to be battling out for a long time. So it'll be hard for these guys, but he can definitely get into that, eventually top 5 in Classic, I think. But
I think so too, man.
Yeah, he keeps bringing that shit right there.
Because he's one of these guys that if everyone comes in 100%, he's probably like 6th or 7th, you know what I mean? Or close to 100%. He'd be 6th or 7th. And then we know not everyone always comes in shape, but this guy probably will. So he's probably going to beat, 2 or 3 of those guys possibly if they're not 100%. And then he ends up in 4th in the Olympia or 3rd or something like that. I could see that happening, but I just can't see him getting really higher than sort of 3rd place sort of thing and challenging C-Bum. But still, like, obviously to be one of the best in the world, we talk about that. A lot of people talk about that, like, oh no, he's never going to win it. It's like, so what? If you can be top 5 in the world, why not be that, So he looked fantastic. So congrats to him. In 2nd place, we had this dude. So I thought Wesley Vissers was going to be 2nd. Apparently when Wesley Vissers got 3rd, it says here, audience was booing. So I don't know if they thought he should have been higher or won it or what. I'm assuming. I thought he looked fantastic though, Wesley Vissers. He was
good. I wasn't a fan of his haircut, but besides that, he looked good.
He wasn't what, sorry?
I wasn't a fan of his haircut, but besides that, he looked good.
What was it? Just like the curlies on the top or what?
Yeah, it was the broccoli head.
What'd you call it? The broccoli head?
Call it the broccoli head. It looks like somebody just put a bunch of broccoli on his head.
Let's have a look at his broccoli head. I thought he looked good, but yeah, his conditioning was really good. And that's the thing for like Wesley, like he needs to be shredded because he doesn't have obviously the tiny waist. He's got the more sort of, I suppose, blockier look to his waist, but I think he's got the like really cool twisting poses. And
yeah, it's
I just like his physique.
Do you feel? I haven't seen him in a while. Do you feel like his legs were down a little bit, or is that pretty normal?
I know his quads aren't. I mean, maybe he pushed him a little bit further to get in condition. Let's have a look at his tagged photos. Yeah, we can see his legs a bit better there, I guess.
But like, I can't remember the last time I saw him on stage. I thought for some reason like his quads were a little bit more sweeping, but they look great. Obviously, the condition. So, what these guys got to remember, they always got to make weight too. So it doesn't even really. Shit, half the time they don't really care what they look like until they make weight. You just have to hit that weight first. So if that's eat away muscle, you got to eat away some muscle. So, that's why I got out of that division.
Yeah. Well, I think Wesley still had room to move. So I think that he's pretty sweet in terms of that. But he looks like he could have been a little bit crisper here, like through the legs and stuff. You see that. That's like, compare that to Michael DaBull, and it's like, it's not in the same league, unfortunately, condition-wise. But I think certain poses he looks fantastic on. So I think he just comes in a bit crisper through a few of these areas. He might have just come in too flat and it's just not popping. I don't know. But yeah. I don't mind the hair too much. But yeah, I've seen his hair better. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, man. So we'll try to find something on the 212s and quickly cover that if you've got time.
Yeah, I don't know anything about 212, so tell me about it. I didn't see that.
I have no idea either, man. So we might see some. Here we go. We've got a comparison video here, so we've got something to go off. This dude, whoever this is, looks outrageous. It's a breakthrough for Nasser Sayed by the looks of it. So I'm assuming that's the guy. We can get the video back up here. This dude here, and Peter Molnar's up there as well, but his legs look down. He was obviously meant to do the classic, but it seems like he's actually Peter Molnar. If this is the first call out, or if this is just a final, maybe this is at the finals. So it looks like Peter Molnar, he's closer to the middle than David Henry is, who's on the outside. So that would be pretty crazy if Peter Molnar beats David Henry in a 212 show, because you look at him and he's obviously much more slightly muscled than David Henry.
So who finished in the middle there?
So I think this dude here in the purple trunks is Nasser Sayed. Let's open up his Instagram to make sure I'm actually right on this. But he looks fantastic. This looks like him. Here we go. We've got an individual of him. So let's have a look. Oh no, is this the right guy? No, this is the guy in the green trunks, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the green trunk guy. Okay, so he looks fantastic as well.
Where did Dean end up?
I did not even see him in that. Did you see him in that call?
I saw a picture. I thought he looked good in his picture.
I don't know if it's his first call out or not, but it looks like it. It looks pretty high. There's Dean there, isn't it? In purple.
I mean, I would think he was in first call. He looked pretty good.
Yeah, that's him. That's him on the left. Yeah, he looked. I mean, obviously he's on the far side, but he's on the outside of that call out. He looks a lot smaller, I think, standing next to these guys in person. So it seems like he may get beaten by like a Peter Molnar if this is like an actual call out, not just the lineup, you know? So yeah, I don't know. If he's going to do that well at this show, unfortunately. But here he is here, I think. What do you think about his look?
That's the picture I saw. I thought he looked good, man. I always like his look. You know, but I think I was just looking at the comments real quick. I think someone said he got 6. That's kind of surprising. But I need to watch. I'll actually watch finals here in a little bit and want to see how the 212 was. That's surprising, especially if you have Peter. But Peter's a great poser. He really shows everything. His legs just seem down because, you know, he's trying to make that classic weight, I think. He sucked down and didn't even make it. So what happened to that other classic guy, the classic, the shorter black guy?
Oh, Maddleman or whatever his name is on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess he wasn't in that final call out. It doesn't look like it anyway. So Peter Molnar.
I mean, the thing is, I think he's trying to make 180 pounds. So he was probably 182 pounds, you know, going up against these 212 guys. So that's probably a hell of a difference.
Yeah. Man, to be honest, like Dean White standing next to Peter Molnar, upper body wise, like I would have Peter winning. It's just the fact that Peter doesn't have the quads. So you see Dean White to the left if it spins around. It does spin around a little bit more in a second, I think. But yeah, so that's sort of surprising. Like that, I thought even maybe that like Maddleman guy, what is his name? Jose Marie Met Biggery, his name is. I thought he might even do better than Peter Molnar because he's a bit more thickly muscled, but it seems like Peter's conditioning was just so insane that he'd sort of just put him against ahead of guys that are maybe a bit bigger than him. So, because Peter Molnar's back there, you look at that, that's pretty big. I just want to see Dean's next to it. So you can see Dean there, you know, like it's size-wise, they actually look sort of similar somewhat, apart from the legs. So, yeah, it's interesting, man. So, I'll see if we've got 212 results now, because I'm assuming Bodybuilders Without Borders will post that up. Okay, we haven't got any more results or anything yet. Let's go to the main Instagram and see something. So this was the last call out we opened, which is absolutely tiny. There you are, Brett. Let's try to open this up, see if we can make it bigger. Oh, no, that's not it. I hate when you zoom on Instagram, it just doesn't zoom in on this main bit. But the last call out was Patrick Johnson on the left. Then you got Martin in the middle with Andrew Jacked. So I don't know if they went through multiple final last call outs. You know how they switch them around. So that's encouraging.
How they did this is they brought these 4 guys out like this, not like this. They brought them out. It was Martin on one side, it was Andrew on the other, and then it was James and Patrick in the middle. And then so then, well, like usually they do this, and they'll put the 2 that they think 1, 2 in the middle. So then they brought Andrew and Martin in the middle and left them there for a while. But then right before they broke and left prejudging, they switched Martin out with Patrick. And so then they had Patrick back in the middle with Andrew. So that's why I think that, you know, at the end of prejudging, they had Andrew, Patrick, then it would have been Martin, then James is what I think it left at.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of viewers right now live, which is cool.
What do you think about? I see a lot of people talking about. What do you think about Andrew's posing?
Andrew Jacked?
Yeah. What do you think about his posing?
I mean, his front double and stuff like that's like fun. Like when he does that, like you can see on screen now, it looks awesome. I just think that like when he hits his like his side chest and whatnot, like that front lat spread too. Like I think Martin's hitting a lot better because Andrew's just leaning back so far, and like because you can see it from this angle. This is like the judge's angle. It doesn't look as flattering. I think if he just sort of like pushed his butt back and still was obviously vacuuming up into it and just leant forward, like it would look so much more impressive. Yeah, I mean, think about it, man. He's done like this is his 4th or 5th contest ever. So having that stage experience, so I think it's actually was sort of a benefit in some ways to do this contest. But look at this, man. Like, look at James and Martin on that back double bicep. That is like mind blowing. Like they actually do blow Andrew out of the water on those poses. So
yeah, I think it will work. I'm actually interested to know what Andrew's wingspan is. Like he just has such long arms. And like it's such an advantage for him too, especially on that front double, because he gets so wide. And it's almost like his arms are above the competition, you know, his sides. And so that and the front lat spread look good, but he does, like you said, he leans back a little bit too much. He loses himself a little bit. He doesn't show as much as he could. Back shots, he has a great upper half on the back double and the back lat spread. But I think he just needs to work on posing, obviously. And like you said, this is what his fucking like 4th, 5th show ever. You know what I mean? He did a couple amateur. He went pro earlier this year, won Texas, and now we're probably going to win UK. So it'll come with time, but you know, if they want to keep this on the expedited route that they are talking about, you know, he needs to get there with flex, get in the lab with flex, and really pose it off.
Yeah, and I will say, actually, looking at this video and really analyzing his posing, it is better at this show than it was at Texas, in my opinion. Like, he's not hitting those side shots as weak as he was in Texas. Texas, he's like, his side leg, he wasn't even sitting on it properly, and it just looked even softer, you know? So,
age experience. His side chest needs some work, though. I think he holds his arms like too high. Like he kind of almost
it's cramped up. Hey,
he minimizes himself. It's like he's almost like choking himself out with his own chest. Like, you know, he needs to open it more. You know, when you think you're doing a side chest, you're actually kind of pulling your lats apart and, you know, pulling your wrists apart and expand yourself and turning across the body. So just small things like that, man. It'll just keep on making them better. But I, you know, really need to keep touching it up, and hopefully he gets that done here.
Yeah, well, he's getting better and better. I'm just going to keep updating this to see if we get any further results or anything like that. But man, do you want to wrap this up? And I'm going to definitely go back and do. Sorry, I'll try to close this. But you've got 855 live viewers, which is awesome. So that's the most I've ever had. So, which is really cool. So, yeah, I'm going to do a live after finals, no matter what. So if you're around, man, you can obviously jump on, because I think finals probably isn't that too far away, and just react to the results. And hopefully we'll have some more video and stuff to go by. If you're free, you can jump on. If not, man, I'll be going live solo. So yeah, let me know what you're doing later, and we can maybe do something. But overall, how do you see it playing out in terms of the placings for the Open?
Yeah, like I said, I think they're going to judge a little bit more tonight. I think it was so close between second and third that they'll, you know, kind of give them another look. So hopefully you guys kind of tighten up a little bit. I still got Andrew first. Just too dominating of a presence, man. It's just, you know, everybody's eyes are going to him. It's just the size, you know, makes it, you know, good enough conditioning. And it's just, you know, something special there. And that's usually what happens, is everybody's eyes get glued to something. I'm going to have Martin in second, man. I really do. Like, I think he brought up his front shots enough that puts him there. I think he had the best back shot. Well, him or James, I think they kind of split on a few shots, but he was leaving a little bit more crisper than James. And then I got Patrick in third, and then James in fourth. So what I think is going to happen, or that's what I think should happen. What probably is going to happen is, I always get disappointed with this because sometimes they don't even judge finals. I hate to tell you guys this, but I think, you know, they're going to go Andrew, Patrick, Martin, James.
Yep. And Jamie in fifth, most likely, hey?
Yeah, Jamie and Mark, whatever, they fifth and sixth.
Yep, I'd agree with that. So pretty much exact same as me, man. I think, well, I'm really hoping that Martin gets second, and the fact that they compared him in the middle for quite a few rounds, I think is a good sign, definitely. But the fact that they finished with Patrick in the middle makes me worried. But they did start with him on the outside, in the middle next to James as well. So we're comparing those two guys. So it's a little bit confusing by the call outs, by the sounds of it. Because back in the day, man, you could almost pick the top 5 show results easily just by the call outs. Like, you'd see who's where. Like, you might go, oh, it's between these two guys, the you know, second and third maybe, but a lot of the time it was pretty obvious. But apparently it's 11 p.m. in the UK right now, so this show must be wrapping up any minute, surely. Like,
yeah, I know. I heard it goes till midnight their time, so we probably still have a little bit of it. That's when you don't start prejudging until 7 p.m. I don't know what you expect's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's this show's definitely been a weird one. Someone said finals tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time. No. I can't imagine finals would be 7 p.m. on a Monday.
No.
That'd be
finals
weird.
Coming up really soon.
yeah, that's what I bought. I saw it on a thing. Let's just have a look at a couple of comments. If you want to have do you have 5 minutes to go through a couple of comments?
Yeah, let's see how much hate I got on here.
Yep, you got a little bit. We'll start with positive. We'll have what is it? Compliment sandwich. So great to see Brett. That's a good one from Jeffrey Reynolds. And let's have a look. Here we go.
Okay, so
Jeffrey L.
one thing I want to stress is people are right. So we keep telling you how Martin should, look better and stuff. But he did look smaller. I mean, this was a bigger guy lineup. You probably got James, who's 270, 265 plus. You got Andrew, who's 275 plus. And then you got Patrick, who's probably 270 plus. And then Martin's probably 242, 245. So he was definitely smaller. He does, he's very bubbly especially for a white man. That's what we call him. But he's very full and bubbly. So like he able to hold his own. But that also shows you that he's 25 and he has some good years ahead of him. So it's only going to be time that he continues to, put on more size. You don't even start hitting your mature muscle until, you're 30. So that's kind of a scary thing. But I do agree. He did look smaller today. Not no 212. You guys got to chill out about that shit because he would need to cut off 2 arms just for him to make 212. And yeah, so, and people saying I'm talking shit about James. I didn't talk shit about James. I'm just saying, I said Martin. They said Martin dwarfed him. Yeah, James might have been bigger than Martin. It doesn't mean he's beating him. He's not gonna beat him. We saw that. So, so Martin just needs more size in the future. Andrew just needs to keep getting conditioning, and these guys are good, man. They're really, really good.
Yeah. This person here, James will win. So there's obviously a lot of varying opinions. This guy here, Andrew Kelly, I'd have Patrick firmly in 4th, simply due to those back shots.
I agree with that.
I do too.
I need to be there, I think, on that one.
You got MVP here saying James looks 3 weeks out. That's why. I guess someone's saying.
So yeah, he could. I guess, like we said, he could have been a little bit sharper, I think. But like I said, he wanted to bring that look. He didn't want to over diet like he did last time. I think maybe that was kind of in the back of his head, and he did it his way.
Yeah. This one from Red Trek. Man, we're getting comments come through quick. I'm struggling to keep up these. Martin looks a lot better in high def shots. I will say that as well. Like when we saw that last video, like James and Martin more probably specifically looked a lot better, and you see that crispness to his physique because he was etched out, man. Like I really can't see him outside the top 2 with the way he looked, but this whole top 4 was pretty much all very impressive. What's this guy saying? Here we go. Brett is the man. Always enjoy his analysis on bodybuilding. Can't wait to see him in Romania with how his updates are looking. There you go. So there's a nice one. Get our confidence back up. Yeah, a lot of people have pretty strong opinions with James is winning this one. Tick, tick. And funny?
Oh, man, I love James.
Brett has disappeared. I don't know what happened there. For some reason, StreamYard likes to kick people off.
Okay. No, but if you notice, they never really once had James in the middle very long. You know what I mean? So they're giving cues that whole time. I mean, I hope he gets his way up to 2nd or 3rd for sure. But he's definitely not going to win that out after prejudging. I hate to burst your bubble.
Yeah. This guy, Jamis, I mean, means James is 280. So his biggest he's ever been so far. So, sorry?
That's huge.
Huge. This guy, Andrew, 1st, Patrick 2nd, James 3rd, Martin 4th. I don't think Martin should be 4th. I think that would be a bit of a, I don't know. I sort of thought from some of the posts of like prejudging comparisons when he's on the outside, I was like, oh, I don't like that. But as we know, the judges like to mix people around a fair bit these days. So what's this guy saying? What if you start bodybuilding in your 30s? How we're talking about the Arnold, so no. Here we go. Martin would win a show sponsored. What does this mean? Martin would win a show sponsored by Lord of the Rings. Okay, I thought that was going to be I thought it said Martin would win the show if he was sponsored. I don't know what that means.
I don't know why. Why are they everyone calling him a hobbit or something? They're like a 212.
Oh, is that why?
Bro, I don't know. That's kind of funny though.
Yeah. Martin should compete in 2 weeks. What do you think? Do you think Martin will compete? Do you reckon he'll go on to actually compete in more shows?
No, I think. Well, wait. It's 2 weeks.
He mentioned the Legion to me. So
the only thing he would do is Legion. I think just because of financials of all these travels, and then it just takes a toll on you, man. Especially doing a trip like this to the UK. So he might do Legion. I don't know. He kind of hinted that if he doesn't win this one, he'd be done. But you always say that until you're like the show's over and you want some more revenge or whatever. So I could see him hopping to Legion. He did it last year. He loved it. It's close to Texas. That'll be a good show. You know that Tonio's going to be there. We got to be there. So that, yeah, I could definitely see Martin doing that if he doesn't win today.
It would definitely make the Legion very exciting. Like it would up the level of a show. So I think whoever's promoting the Legion should definitely try to get him in. They actually, man, surprisingly enough, actually copyright struck my channel recently, which was a surprise.
Who did, Legion?
Yeah, for my prejudging review last year, because you know how I hurt myself recently. I was just wasn't on my emails much and stuff, and then I had the opportunity to take it down within 7 days, but I didn't see the email, and unfortunately got a copyright strike for that prejudging video from last year. So I had the opportunity to take it down. Whoa! 7 days. I accidentally opened the video, was doing one thing. So yeah, I was surprised. I was like, holy crap! So anyway, let's see if there's any more. Here we go. Someone taking a diggy. The butcher needs more meat.
Oh, I'm on low carb right now. I need a lot. I need some more food for sure. I'm feeling it today.
How much prize money at Legion? Do you know how much there is? Be a standard show, wouldn't it? 10K sort of thing.
Yeah, it would be probably 10K for the winner, 4K per second or whatever. It's in that tier.
People are still on Martin about 212. Like there's a lot of comments about it. I don't know why.
I don't know if people are just fucking with it now, but like he physically can't make 212. That's like saying for me to make 212. It just physically won't happen. Or if you do, you're gonna look like a sack of shit because you're gonna lose all your muscle and
cool.
You can't stand on stage.
Probably the worst idea. I'm gonna open up Nathan's story. I'm going to have it on silent until I get to the actual one where he actually talks about the show, and we'll quickly show that, and then we'll wrap this thing up. And I'll be back after we have the finals results.
And we should get Nathan on here and see how he thinks he would have done today.
Oh, for sure, man. I I wish Nathan was doing this show.
Yeah, that would have made it a lot more. I mean, it was exciting, but it would have made it even more exciting with him there. It was fun, almost like. Did you kind of get some vibes of him when Mark Hector walked out, though? Like that first couple front shots?
What do you mean? Sorry. Like Nathan De Asha's physique?
Yeah, like the Mark Hector physique kind of looked like Nathan De Asha physique in the past, like a smaller Nathan. Just a little bit longer torso. They had very similar legs, big full shoulders and arms. I thought it was very comparable.
I'd say yes, but the only thing I'd say is real different is Nathan's like physique almost just like flows like rounded, you know what I mean? Like Andrew Jack almost like the way his physique flows, I wouldn't say it flows perfectly, but it works. You know what I mean? Like his physique's almost like in the way he poses as well, sometimes like sort of like bang, bang, bang. So it's sort of like he's almost like a robot version of like Nathan De Asha, like he's not a real person. Like when Andrew Jack hits that front double, it's like totally different. In terms of like, he's got that sort of etched out sort of different look. Like if he was super shredded, it would be insane. And then Nathan's got that really rounded look, like the really round quads, and where his waist goes in even smaller sort of thing. So, but yeah, they do have those similarities in terms of like the longer torso and whatnot as well. But I can see what you mean, definitely. Okay, I'm going to bring up it's not Andrew Jackson, Nathan De Asha's story. I'm going to play the volume and hopefully this works. Just let me know if it's not working. I'm still an amateur on this. Let's find where to open up Nathan De Asha's profile. And I've lost it. I don't even know where it is. I'll open up one of these other ones. Oh, here we go. So it just says stories. Can you see that all right?
Yes. We're gonna look at him partying last night.
No, I skipped over that bit. Here we go.
Jamie Joel is on. Looks absolutely awesome. Do you hear me? It's going to be Mark Hector, I think. Andrew Jack.
What was that?
That's who he said. He said that James is going to be Mark Hector. And guess what? He might be right. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Jamie is going to beat him. So he did know that.
He called that.
Doesn't look on. Soft as hell in the quadriceps, in the back. Patrick. Look.
So he mentioned about Andrew Jack then. He said he's soft as hell in the quadriceps. So in the back. So I think he means quadriceps. I think that's funny, man.
No, he means. We just listen to it.
Yeah, of course. I love giving him shit, man.
Look fucking crazy. The Viking, I wouldn't say too much so far.
I think that's
always James Hollingshead, and Jamie Johal. Hold on, man. Hold on.
So I thought he said the Viking. I'm not going to say too much yet. And then he goes, James Hollingshead.
No. I think he's talking about the guy that won the amateur yesterday.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought, like, because James Hollingshead looks like a Viking, I thought he was talking about him.
Serious. He's like 6'7". He's like 6'7" pounds. He was gigantic. And I think they call him that's who I was talking about.
Oh, okay. I didn't know his nickname was a Viking. So
yeah.
He says here,
anyone looked like a fucking Viking on the stage. It was him.
Yeah, true. I didn't even think of that. Okay, the Giant, very impressive. He's fighting for this believe that Jamie Christian was actually fighting for it. First time he's nailed it.
That's what I saw. I was like, I thought he might have been a little off on that.
Yeah, I think he went too. Sometimes when you see these guys come out, though, they're that impressive just to look at on their own. It's like, and you see him in one call out and you think, fuck, you're sort of looking up, seeing some shots. You see like the front lat spread, maybe a few of his other ones. You go, this dude can win this. And you sort of analyze it a bit better and you go, oh no, later on. So it's probably one of those. Martin Fitzwater, fuck me, that's all there's to say. So obviously impressive his conditioning. James Hollingshead brought one of his best. So he's impressive, obviously, James Hollingshead. Patrick Johnson is the best I've seen him. Abdullah done a great job. Andrew Jack, don't want to put nothing negative, but I thought he bought a better package at Texas. He's left the door open here. So he obviously thought the door was open for Andrew Jack to be potentially beaten at that show. So what's your thoughts on what Nathan had to say? You sort of mentioned a bit of it anyway, but what's your thoughts on what he had to say about Andrew Jack? Do you think that Andrew Jack was actually better before? Hey, we've got Antoine Valiante in the comments too.
Yeah. No, I think climate change.
And then look at this next one.
He's trembling. Don't worry, I am stopping climate change for you right now. No,
thank you,
I think Nathan was he's a little harsh. You know what I mean? I mean, like, but this is all because of the lead up to this. This was we talked about this, the percentage thing. It was like, I was 70 in Texas. I'm going to be 80 in UK. I'm going to be 90 at the Olympia. You shouldn't say that because then that's all what everyone was shooting for, especially guys like Nathan that are going to call you out on that if you're not, So you still got to realize like that's a winning physique. That was probably the best physique on stage today, and he's probably going to get rewarded for it. So props to Andrew. I also want to give props to Patrick. He did, like in our guest, in our guesses earlier this week, I think I had him 5th. So to see him come up, he's going to get 2nd or 3rd. I guarantee it. Good for him. They're doing a good job over. He has the same coach as Brandon Curry, I believe. And he did a really good job with him, especially someone that no one really knew. Most people besides you and I didn't even know who Patrick Johnson was before this, So for him to come out, that's a great showing. And then, rounding it out with those big boys, Martin and James. So hopefully, like I said, we get more of a show here to come, and they put him through some more rounds and make him work a little bit more to finish it off with a bang.
Yeah, for sure. Someone's asking results out. So a lot of people are asking this sort of stuff. So we don't have the results as yet. I'll quickly just update one of the pages. Apparently it's on live right now. So I'll have a look at, someone said AJ Kelly Roberts, who actually a lot of the stuff was his videos as well that I showed before. So shout out to him and his Instagram. I don't know. Well, he's put up a lot of videos of these other classes and stuff that's on, but you can't see my screen now, can you? Can you see my screen, Brett?
No, I can just see us.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I was just having a look at it. I can't see any results yet, but it seems like it's probably going to be pretty soon. But I'll start another stream anyway. But anyway, man, we'll wrap this one up. Here we go. Andrew Glutes Water. Yeah, a little bit watery, I'd say probably. I don't know. Here we go. Some people saying Dominic D. Erico. Nathan must be blind or feels a bit threatened by Andrew. I don't think Nathan's threatened. I think that Nathan just has strong opinions and he just puts them out there. Like what he'd say to his boys, like behind the scenes, he just says to the public.
So it makes this fun, right? That's what this all is about.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, and shout out to Antoine for getting him comments and stuff as well. I think we've had a ton of comments on this video. We've had over 1,000 viewers live and stuff at once. And I think we've had several thousand as well roll through the stream. So anyway, guys, we're going to be back soon, or at least I'm going to be back soon, and going to do a review of the finals because that should be wrapping up probably any minute now. So I'm going to be doing that soon. So make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell button, head over to Brett's Instagram and YouTube channel, follow his stuff, because obviously he's competing in 6.5 weeks time in Romania, and he's going to bring, in my opinion, probably his all-time best. And I'm assuming that's what you're trying to bring as well to the stage. So anything you want to shout out, man? Obviously the butcher hook's what you got at the moment. I'll give you a chance to shout that out and all your stuff.
No, we're just making this about these guys today for sure, though. These guys, like I said, I was impressed overall with the top call out there, and they all brought it, and we knew what to expect, and it's good to see. So let's go watch these finals, see these guys kill it. Antoine, love you. We'll see you at the O. Either way, I'll be there to see you. Congrats on your year, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Hopefully, you guys, the butchering of Romanians. Hopefully we get to see you guys on stage together. It'd be cool to see you guys in the same call out, and Antoine bringing his best and you bring your best to the Olympia, man. That'd be very, very cool. Anyway, that's it for this. Hope you guys enjoyed this live prejudging review and results review of the Classic and all that sort of stuff. I might have to change the name of the title and the video and stuff after this one. But thank you so much, Brett, for jumping on. Just literally last minute notice. It's been cool to do. And let us know in the comments as well, live or after this video goes up, because I'll get up in there and reply to a few of you guys if you like this sort of format and these sorts of videos. Because if you do, we'll do more of them. So that's it.
Hopefully promoters figure this shit out for next year. Maybe they should hire you to run this shit.
Man, I'll run it.
We'll throw them a dollar sign. We can do this all day, So
man, it's fun, dude. Like, I would love to commentate shows. Like, honestly, like, I know obviously Fuad's talked about it. A whole bunch of other people want to do it. Obviously, got Dennis James wanting to do this sort of stuff. You got Fuad. You got Sean Ray, depending what you sort of like in terms of the commentary, and Phil Heath's now doing obviously the Olympia, but it's something that I'm passionate about, and I think you have a very good knowledge of all the competitors. I think I've got a pretty good knowledge. I've followed this since I've been young, and it's funny that a lot of people say that you can't they don't want to hear comments unless you've competed at that level, which I think there's a certain value to that. But I like having both sides of a coin, like Phil Heath commentating Olympia, next level, like Lee Haney, all that sort of stuff. But I think it's good to get sort of the inside and outside perspective. So anyway, that's it for us on this live prejudging and results review of the 2022 Arnold Classic. We'll be back soon for the finals. Make sure you do subscribe, all that sort of stuff to everything we've got going on. So that's it for myself, Xavier Wills, and Brett Wilkin. We are hooked.